welcome you again to the Economy League of Greater Philadelphia's Well City Challenge 2.0 pitch competition. I was just sharing with Jeff, I'm passionate about anything and anyone black and brown, and I'm excited to hear these ideas that are coming from the community that are going to directly affect the community. So I'm really excited to be here. So without further ado, to introduce the WCC team and sponsors, ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Jeff Hornstein.
Thank you. Give it up for Julian King. If you haven't listened to his music, he's amazing. Emmy Award and Grammy Award nominee. We are very excited to have him as the MC tonight. So I won't spend too much time because I'm not nearly as fun or interesting as he is. Jeff Hornstein, Executive Director of the Economy League, give you my little commercial. We are a 114-year-old independent think and do tank founded by forward-looking members of the business community that were united by the belief that business has a civic responsibility beyond just profit making. And tonight we're going to call out a couple of firms that are definitely exemplifying that, particularly Blue Cross and Giant, our sponsors for the competition and for the challenge itself. So give them a round of applause. They're going to say a few words later. The Economy League, we have more than 60 companies on our board of directors. Our board, I'm proud to say, is one of the most diverse boards in the city of Philadelphia, and that it's taken a lot of work to get there. Our North Star is fostering inclusive and equitable growth and prosperity in Greater Philadelphia, which we do by cultivating informed and collaborative leadership across sectors, using data and research to inform decision making. That's a pretty radical idea around here, I know. Fostering a culture of civic experimentation and innovation, and opening doors of civic participation. And I wanted to call that last piece out because the Well City Challenge exemplifies our goals of spurring civic innovation and opening doors of civic participation. We're thrilled to welcome all of the everyday innovators in this room and their cheering squads here tonight. So let me hear it from the teams. Give yourselves a shout out. Again, I want to thank our pitch competition sponsors, Giant Foods, and of course our presenting sponsor, Independence Blue Cross. You'll get to hear from my good friend, Kernika Gupta, later. Just 2 or 3 words about the Well City Challenge. So the Well City Challenge was born in 2019 in a conversation between my former Deputy Director, Nick Frontino, myself, and an Independence Blue Cross Executive Vice President, Marcy Rost. We realized that the social innovation platform the Economy League had built, called Impact Labs, could be applied to issues related to health equity and issues that were really becoming more salient to independents, which, as you know, provides health coverage to millions of people in our region. So Well City 1.0 focused on millennials and mental health, driven by Independence research, by Blue Cross research more generally about the disturbingly poor health outcomes emerging in that generation. Well City 2 is focused more broadly on mental and heart health, 2 areas in which Philadelphia as a whole fares particularly poorly, particularly across lines of race, class, and neighborhood. The teams in this room tonight have the potential to significantly address some of those health equity gaps. I'm so excited to sit back and listen to your pitches. Before I do, I wanted to give a shout out to our partners at Accelerate Health Equity. The Accelerate Health Equity team, raise your hands. Give them whoop whoop. And Accelerate Health Equity is a coalition of health systems in the region run by our good friend Erica Dixon, the woman of many hairstyles, who you'll see in the back. And our friends here at the Science Center. I wanted to give them a shout out too. Amazing stuff, especially TK and his team of folks who make everything run so seamlessly, so give them a quick round of applause too. And then none of this would happen without my team, the Well City Challenge team, the Director of Impact Lab, Maritza Pedlar, she'll be up in a second, her associate Tia Abdulhadi, who's done an amazing job of putting this thing together, along with our Impact Labs fellow, Lenny Miller, and our other fellow and former winner of the last Well City Challenge, Nicole Kenny. Where is she? So if my team can just raise their hands and say hello. Great job, everybody. All right, without any further ado, I'm going to turn the floor over to Maritza for a few more remarks before we get this party started. Thank you all.
Thank you, thank you. So the theme for this year's Well City Challenge is Community Solutions for Mind and Heart Health. And we started this process in fall of 2022 when we hosted 3 community listening sessions throughout the city and spent months trying to get their feedback about the solutions that they are looking for. So before we get started, I just want to give a round of applause for our recruitment selection team, our mentors, and those in the community that were with us from the beginning. And then at the top of the year, we have a successful kickoff, and that helped us get nearly 100 applications of wonderful ideas from aspiring entrepreneurs and people having small businesses in the city. And we did an incubator for the past 4 weeks with this amazing cohort of 15 teams that are presenting to you today with their pitch. So, this is a day where we're going to see solutions for cash prizes and investment for these ideas. So 6 spots will be moving on to the accelerator for this summer, and they'll be vying for a grand prize of $50,000. So once again, give it up for our cohort that will be presenting to you today, and we look forward to celebrating and hearing their pitches tonight.
Awesome. So I should have said this earlier, but I just want to make sure that we can all take a second to silence our cell phones just so that we don't have any interruptions during these presentations. But let's get started. Y'all ready? All right, let's do it. All right, so as you know, today is broken up into 3 categories. I am going to explain all 3 of them for you right now. First, we have equitable access to nutrition and care. So too often, health disparities come down to one thing: access. While Philly has abundant healthcare resources, the reality is that access to quality care is dramatically uneven and far too often dictated by a patient's race, ethnicity, or neighborhood. Far too many neighborhoods lack access to healthy, culturally appropriate foods. This category is about building pathways to equitable nutrition and preventative care that embraces and reflects the community's identity instead of working against it. So give it up for equitable access to nutrition and care. Next, we have creating safe spaces. So safety in our homes, streets, and our communities. Our environment has a direct impact on our health, and unsafe environments lead to unhealthy outcomes. Despite progress prior to 2020, many neighborhoods in Philly have long faced an epidemic of gun violence. There's an undeniable link between violence, mental health, and physical well-being. Unsafe streets are preventing many neighbors from walking, gathering, utilizing community hubs, and other activities to contribute to wellness. So creating safe spaces is hoping to address those issues in a very innovative way. So give it up for creative spaces. And last but not least, supporting community connections. This is all about supporting community in non-traditional ways and breaking down invisible walls that are barriers to true connection. The impact of racist housing policies such as redlining and intergenerational disconnect are just a couple of examples. But this category is all about empowering neighbors, tapping into grassroots leadership, and increasing access to resources. So give it up for supporting community connections. Now, all of these entrepreneurs were selected to pitch due to their promising and creative ways of approaching heart and mental health in Philadelphia, and they all deserve a chance to win some cash to keep their important work going. I told y'all to silence cell phone. Whose cell phone is this? This ain't mine. It's up here ringing, 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 girl. Each category will be judged by 3 experts using a standard rubric. At the end of presentations, we'll tally their scores and announce the winners of the Judges' Choice Awards. And make sure you take note of your favorite presentations so that you can judge later as well. So, here we go. First up is equitable access to nutrition and care. Let's meet our judges. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Rose McDevitt, Andy Bernstein, Paul, this last name has been killing me for the past 20 minutes. Is it Madarietta? You'll take it? Okay, for 500. Madarietta. He's the regional director of Giant. And also just added Jeff Benjamin from the Vetri Foundation. Please give it up for our judges now. And while you're at it, put your hands together for our first team pitching tonight, Food Connect, led by Arka Donovan and her team members Mega, Alex, and Gracie.
Does my time start exactly when I start? start talking or no? Okay. All right. Oh, that's us? All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here. I'm Erika Donovan, and I'm the Development Director of Food Connect. Food security is a deeply personal issue to me. I am the child of immigrant parents who suffered through wartime famine. I believe food is a fundamental human right, and that's why I joined Food Connect. We help healthcare and nonprofits better connect food to people in need. Philadelphia is hungry and sick. 1 out of 3 Philadelphians are on food programs. With limited access to healthy food, this leads to chronic health issues. And 1 out of 10 That's what happens when you're the first person. 1 out of 10 adults hospitalized have heart disease. So what do we do to help? Since 2018, we have provided reliable distribution and access through 3 service channels: food rescue and redistribution, Meals Initiative, and Food is Medicine programs. We've learned 3 core issues when it comes to food programs. The first is that they're Band-Aids. They're not set up to provide sustainable food security. The second is that they don't provide cultural appropriate food, which automatically leads to food waste. And the third is they don't gather honest consumer feedback. This all leads to unmet needs. So we're suggesting a 4th service, which is to collect feedback and collect data to create our research impact report. The steps are very straightforward. We collect candid feedback on unmet needs in health. Second, we analyze and evaluate. And then third, we provide those recommendations to providers on the front line so we can improve those programs immediately. I want to give you a snapshot of the mini proof of concept. On Monday, we texted 21 of our food program participants. In less than 24 hours, 1/3 responded with 3 ways that we could improve their experience. First is more food. That's good. Second is more variety, in particular fruit. And the third was recipes. Help us learn how to use this food that you've provided. And shockingly or not shockingly, 4 were unsatisfied with their current health. Imagine what we could do with a fully funded product that's designed along best research practices. So why Food Connect? Since 2018, we have had strong community connections, boots on the ground, and our homegrown technology platform that has enabled us to distribute over 3 million meals to the greater Philadelphia region. We're not only focused on sustainability within the community, but sustainability as an organization. We blend our revenue model with fee for service, so our partners pay us for our services, and we fundraise for the remaining to make sure we meet our core mission. We're proud of our 90% renewal rate and extra proud of our 100% partner referral rate. Here are a snapshot of our partners across the 4 sectors of healthcare, government, hunger relief community organizations, and education. As you can see, these are anchor organizations within Philadelphia, and we're proud to be partnered with them. So what is our growth strategy? We plan to pitch our impact product pilot concept to existing partners and new partners, scale across the region, and then really drive systems change in terms of policy advocacy, research, social media, and academic publication. We have the perfect team for this project. We are diverse in skills and expertise with personal lived experiences with food insecurity. We have a technology, logistics, operations, social work, and community engagement background. We know we can build an effective product. But we won't do it alone. A special thank you to our strategic advisors, our WCC advisors, Dana and Christina, for all of their support. And our board has healthcare implementation nonprofit growth strategy experience. We're now moving towards our measurement plan and implementing the pilot, but we've made a lot of progress in a short period of time. With $10,000, we can start tomorrow. We have the plan, the partners, and the expertise. This will transform Philadelphians for generations to come. Thank you.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
I'm curious, are you able to support individuals if they have unique health needs? I'm thinking specifically of diabetes.
Yes.
Can you help assemble foods that would be beneficial to an individual like that?
Yeah, we work with programs to provide medically tailored or diet-specific meals. They can be produce boxes. In fact, we've done that for diabetes, hypertension, other types of chronic illness. Mm-hmm.
Thanks. You said that you do a fee for service.
Correct.
What percentage of your people pay versus are recipients of your goods for free?
I would say about 35%.
Pay.
Correct. Excuse me. All of our partners pay, but we have a portion of our services that is sponsored. That is food rescue specifically.
Can you talk about the feedback you've collected to date, how you collect that feedback, and how you plan to implement that into the pilot program?
Great. We've collected this feedback organically. So the reason for this pitch is to create a more structured and formal academic sort of research structure. How we've done it is actually through text messages and feedback through our text message surveys with our recipients.
Time for one more? Yeah, we've got time for one. So you may have shown it on the slide over there. I wasn't entirely sure. Your willingness to partner with other philanthropies, and have you already?
Yes, absolutely. We're partnered with many of the largest hunger relief agencies in the region, so Philabundance and so on, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Good luck to everyone.
Once again, give it up for Food Connect. You know how difficult this is to stand up here and try to convince people that you're worth something? My heart was beating back there for you, Miss Thing, okay? I was back there like, whoa, okay. All right, let's keep it going. Next, we have Healthy Heart Philadelphia, led by Ngozi Onuoha and Barbara Simmons.
Thank you very much. So, in Philadelphia, did you know that heart disease kills more people in Philadelphia than cancer? So the name of my pitch is Healthy Heart Philadelphia. I'm Ngozi Onuoha. I'm a clinician and health educator. And here with me is Barbara Simmons. She's my community liaison and community organizer. So the problem, we know the leading cause of death in Philadelphia is heart disease. Let me tell you about Nadia. Nadia is 16 years old. She lives with her mother, who has 2 jobs, and her mom buys prepackaged meals for Nadia to heat up when Nadia returns home from school. At her last checkup, Nadia was diagnosed with obesity and pre-diabetes, borderline diabetes. At the age of 25 years old, Nadia loses vision in her right eye from diabetes. And the following year, Nadia files for Social Security disability. So what's the problem? Heart disease begins in the teen years, and it starts off with thickening of the vessels. And this is driven by metabolic factors like obesity, diabetes, high blood pressure, and high lipids. So, I'm going to give you a quote by Frederick Douglass. He said, "It is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men." So we're going to start at the root cause. And we implement our program which includes primordial prevention. And this is basically preventing the risk of heart disease. So it's different from primary prevention, and primary prevention is treating the risk factors, but we're going way before that. So we're going to be doing primordial prevention in teens. Now we're going to go back to Nadia. We implement this program, and Nadia attends. Nadia is 16 years old. She lives with her mother, who works 2 jobs. Nadia finds our class. She attends the live workshop. She learns about healthy eating, she learns about nutrition, and she learns about food access resources. Nadia also attends our food prep and cooking demonstrations, and she learns how to cook meals. When the lights are out and they don't have heat, Nadia can use the air fryer to prepare vegetables to eat when the heat is out. And Nadia now asks her mom to buy fruits and vegetables. So mom is now buying frozen vegetables. At her last checkup, Nadia gets an excellent bill of health. At 25 years of age, Nadia becomes a commercial pilot. And the following year, she retires her mom because she's able to foot the bill. So we're starting at the root cause. We're starting with teens. Our target audience is 1,000 Black and brown teens in high-risk neighborhoods in Philadelphia and their parents. Our timeline, once we get the funding, we're going to secure equipment, develop the workshop, marketing materials. We're going to hire a video production team, and we're going to contact local schools. We're going to implement the program. We're going to run 1 workshop a month for 3 months at different schools. We're going to upload the recordings on our social channels. We have already secured an Instagram channel and a YouTube channel called Healthy Heart Philadelphia. Check it out. We're also going to run food prep, cooking classes with teens once a month for 3 months at the library. And we're going to sustain this program by seeking sponsors with food companies. And this is our budget. This is what we need to run 1 workshop and 1 cooking class. So the impact is an increase in the consumption of 2 servings of vegetables and 2 servings of fruits per day, and also to reduce heart disease rates in Philadelphia. Why invest in us? We have experience, 50 years of combined health experience we're able to implement. Our team consists of myself, Janelle, who's a registered nutrition dietitian, and Barbara, who's here with me. We have teen advisors, and we have a marketing consultant and a publisher as part of our team. So vote for us, Healthy Heart Philadelphia. We want to get Philadelphia healthy again. Thank you.
That's awesome. Thank you. Have you had any interactions with the Philadelphia School District yet about securing locations?
Yes, through Janelle, she's linked us up with a school. So once we get the funding, we're ready to go.
Okay.
How will you plan to make sure that the target audience or the patient population will be compliant and commit to the plans that you'll be introducing to them?
So we're going to do surveys when we start. We're going to do surveys, and we're actually going to use user-generated content. So we have 2 teen advisors, and we're going to use what the teenagers want us, what the information they want us to provide to them. So we're going to use that as a guide.
Can you talk more about scaling beyond the $10,000 and how will you go to different schools or what other partnerships you've explored?
Yeah, I've reached out to a few people I know. I need introductions to more people. In particular, we're interested in grocery stores as well as food companies. We'd like to scale to various schools, and we'll do that by using connections, getting introduced to different schools.
Also, my role as community liaison, I have made contact with a number of community organizations that that already have youth programs and youth groups ongoing, so we would tap into that.
Thank you.
We are going to keep this moving right along. Judges, just when you speak, feel free to take that mic out of that holder just so that those in the back can completely hear your questions, okay? Next up, we have First Green Farms, presented by Desmond Hayes and Lois Davidson.
Okay, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, judges. My name is Desmond Hayes, and the co-owner and co-founder of First Green Farms. And we are an indoor hydroponics vertical farm. Now, right off the bat, I know when people hear hydroponics, sometimes they think cannabis and that industry. We're not in that industry, so we're going to kind of steer away from that. But no, what we actually do is we provide healthier, more nutritious foods to food deserts, food insecure areas, and minority communities, which is a huge issue, and globally, regionally, but for this conversation, definitely in Philadelphia, with 26% of the people living below poverty levels, and 13 to 16% living in food desert conditions, which is unfortunately still a vicious cycle. Just hasn't changed yet, and it needs to. And of course, it's really primarily due to access and availability. Most people will go to a corner store, bodega, Wawa, some of these other places, none of which are really known for their better produce, but people will go there, pat themselves on the back, and think everything's good, but that's still not getting the job done. But what we're proposing is if you take an indoor farm such as ours, and you drop it into some of these communities, now you have basically a change, because now you're getting a more superior product. You're getting a produce product that is pesticide-free, that we grow 365 days throughout the year because we're not constrained to seasonalities. We harvest 2 to 3 times a week or so, and what that means is extremely hyper-local. It's inside of these communities, it's servicing these communities, and it's getting into these communities, which is what you want at their richest time. You want to harvest and get it right out to the people while all the minerals and vitamins and everything like that are still intact. So those are the benefits to hydroponics, and that's what you want to get into the community as much as possible and as fast as possible, in addition to it being just a more environmentally friendly way of farming. With the model that we're proposing is more so a community-style farm where we're bringing people in, we're training people, we're offering jobs. We did the same thing at the facility that I have right now. But the idea is obviously still to promote, this better eating, educating people of better eating, learning more ways to cook and different types of food to actually try, which unfortunately is kind of lacking a little bit in the generation prior to us right now. So we want to try to, get those areas as much as possible and keep build upon those areas as much as we possibly can. My apologies, but for my location, I actually did this, or am doing this, in New Jersey right now, and Hamilton right across the bridge, and have been extremely successful since we, expanded. We was profitable after the first 6 months or so, and the mission was the same as what we would be doing here in Philadelphia, and that, providing fresher produce to these locations that needed the most. So we started with food banks and food pantries, then the word of mouth kind of carried on, and we started supplying colleges such as Princeton and Rutgers to local caterers, local restaurants, local schools, and treated it again as like a community farm and getting this healthier style of produce out to the community as much as we possibly can. My co-owner, co-founder did the same thing here actually in Philadelphia as well, and was extremely successful here at Philabundance as well. And the idea is to partner up and basically take this on to the next scale here in our city in Philadelphia. So we have an extremely very socially active board behind us, socially enterprises behind us that support us and know what we're trying to do, know what we want to accomplish. And we know that the teams, we know who we want to bring into the farm and educate and offer jobs to. Again, we at my facility, what we plan to do here is work with the autistic community, is also work with formerly incarcerated people that struggle with actually getting jobs, getting professions, and training them and reinserting them back into the workforce as much as we possibly can. So we got everything lined up. We know in terms of our milestones, our schedule, we know where we're at there. And with this program, with this challenge, we're just hoping that this helps to catapult us into the next phase, which is ultimately just community outreach. And from there, continue to find the building, build it out, and go from there. So with that being the case, I want to thank everybody for their time, and thank you, and basically welcome you to First Green Farms. Thank you.
By the way, just speak a little bit louder so us back here can hear you, okay? Judges?
My man back there was helping me out, too.
Okay. This is great, thank you. I had seen a couple of...
And I apologize. I meant to mention the samples. One is what I just harvested 2 hours ago. The other is from a store. I don't want to say anything wrong, but the one you can clearly see.
Yeah, be careful.
Yeah. you clearly see the difference in the texture, and if you were to taste the taste and the quality and everything. That's why I wanted to present the sample to you.
Yeah. I had seen a couple of square footage things. What's your sweet spot when you're going into a new community? What's the sweet spot size of location and yield of location?
Yeah, it depends on what you're growing. It's not necessarily a sweet spot. Like if, for example, if I wanted to try or we wanted to grow like tomatoes that take a very long time to grow, you need a lot of acreage to be profitable there. For us, providing leafy greens like collards and kale and stuff like that I know the urban community would like, we can do something like that. We're looking around like 8,000 square feet or so. My 2,000 square feet that I have in Hamilton, that's we produce about a little under a ton a month in there and supply a lot of people. But being confined with space, after a while, you got colleges, schools, hospitals. That 2,000 and that ton of produce goes by very fast. So that's why the sweet spot we're starting with is 8,000.
If you have a building, let us know.
You talked about some of the great features of this type of farming. Can you talk about the constraints and challenges that you've experienced and how you plan to overcome those?
I would say that the biggest challenge was just the logistics with clients initially, because it's so fresh, because we harvest it and get it out within the next few days or so. You want to make sure the clients understand that this isn't something that you can just deliver and just drop off and have it in front for hours, because it's just harvested. It needs to be refrigerated and stored very fast. And so normally I've worked with the clients to have like a logistical meeting, and after first few deliveries is there, first the relationship is built, then everything is off to the races. So it's been good. Other than that, it is training people, because this is still an industry that's still relatively in its infancy. A lot of people think it's treated as more of like a hobby versus something you can actually build a future on, actually have a career in. So training people with it and getting them to understand, all the bells and whistles, everything that's happening, that's the other portion. But that's pretty simple.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for First Green Farms.
Thank you. Good luck.
All right, now, Nichelle, don't forget about me back here, okay? So I want you to lift up this mic. I want you to put it right near your mouth so we can hear you, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, PEDS 360 in Corp, presented by Nichelle Adegbite Maraventano.
That's close.
Okay, I'm trying.
That's close. Okay, let's see. So we're gonna dig in the weeds here for a minute. What's going on with this thing? All right, we're good. Ah, that's me. There we go. All right. So good evening. I am Dr. Adegbite Maraventano. I am the medical director, CEO, and founder of PEDS 360 Plus. We are an integrative pediatric practice, a startup, and we're focused on trauma-informed care. So we're going to dig in the weeds a little bit, all right? So we are thinking outside of the blocks and elevating traditional pediatric care. So our first patient is a 5-year-old native Philadelphian. She's got typical 5-year-old hobbies. She's got dimples. She's a cutie. But her ACEs score is 2. So what is ACEs? It's adverse childhood events, also known as traumatic events. Categories would include abuse, neglect, and household dysfunction. So in a 1998 study, which was the landmark study, they studied 17,000 patients in California. 50% of those patients self-reported an ACEs score of 1, and 25% of those patients presented an ACEs score, reported an ACEs score of 2. In Philadelphia, they repeated this study twice, 2012, 2013. The demographics here are quite different than Southern California. They had to expand the areas of ACEs to include living in unsafe neighborhoods, witnessed violence, and discrimination and bullying. So, what about ACEs? ACEs can have a lasting effect on your health, your behaviors, life potential, life expectancy. So we're talking about decreasing the life expectancy of disproportionately Black and brown folks. Okay, this is our community, our village. So this is me. And that was me. And I have an ACEs score of 7. So the question is, how did I beat those odds? How did I get beyond those statistics? I had support, I had the means, I had the access, and the knowledge to be able to get past the blocks that hold us back from our success. But it shouldn't be just me, it should be all of us. That is what health equity is. Excuse me, let me go back for a second. Oh. Okay, clicker happy. So what are the blocks to this? We have a payer model that supports reactionary medicine instead of preventative medicine. Thank you, Ngazi, for pointing that out as well. There's a poor quality at a high consumer cost. And across the board, there's a lack of diversity, health equity, and inclusion. And that, again, disproportionately affects Black and brown folks like me. This is why I decided that I was going to form PEDS 360 Core. So what's different about us? Our philosophy, where we start off with our policies and how we run our business, is based off of the philosophy of Ubuntu, which means collective work. In other words, I am because we are. So we are a group of experts that are coming together with evidence-based medicine, bringing it to the table to reduce the effects of ACEs on our outcomes. We have a rigorous, direct way of measuring whether or not we are doing what we say we're going to do. We have an EHR system that does analytics and will look at these measurements and make sure that the work that we are putting in is actually what we're getting at. This is our team. We have a diverse team of specialists that are specialized in not just conventional therapies, but also complementary therapies that focus on the mind, body, and spirit of the individual. We include the family in this process, and that, therefore, will help the community as a whole. So, with the $10,000 that we're going to win, we're keeping it moving. And we're going to introduce health, hydroponics, thanks First Greens. We're going to be going throughout the city of Philadelphia on a mobile unit and being able to bring these services to folks and learn exactly what it is the community needs. I'm in the purple. Financial projections, scalable, dependable, we can do it. All right, thank you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Okay.
You mentioned your mobile unit. Will you also have a
Yes.
physical location?
Yes, so we're right now in the process of looking at being on the border of Philadelphia and the suburbs with a 15-mile radius. we'll get both sides coming and participating in our practice.
You got to the financial slide last, so could you tell me what your annual budget is?
Yes. So I'm actually going to defer to our business consultant here. Mark, you want to come up and go over the financials? Yeah, I'll go back to the slides.
Hello. All right. So we have a couple $1 million budget. Over the first 3 years, we incorporated in September of last year. We hit our break even in Q3 of 2026. So on the bottom, revenue, and on the top, the expenses there.
And the revenue thereafter is going to be put towards acquisitions and collaborations in order to scale.
Yes.
Thank you.
You mentioned EHR and system implementation. Can you talk about where you implemented the system so far, and then what feedback you received and how you plan to implement your system in the care continuum?
Yeah. So we have a contract with Athena Health Systems, which does analytics on the backside. We are a startup, so we have not opened our doors just yet, but that's our plan.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, PEDS 360. Last but not least, we have Team Up to Heal the Heart of the Community, presented by Dr. Sunul Coriolis.
Did you know more than 100,000? Did you know more than 100,000 black men in Philadelphia live with undiagnosed heart disease? They don't go to the doctor. Our goal is to build alternative access to care for black men centered around the most trusted institution in black African Americans' life, the church, supported by robust technology. I'm Dr. Sunul Coriolis. I'm a board-certified cardiologist. I've been practicing in the community for the past 25 years. Our model will address the health inequity in black men's health. Before we go further, let me tell you about my 45-year-old African-American patient, John. John is married with 2 children. He works in IT as a consultant. He's very active in his church. However, over the past 3 years, John has had to go to the hospital 4 times for chest pain. Each time, he was told to go and follow up with his doctor, but he never did. He just did not have the time. One day, John collapsed at work. He needed to be resuscitated and had emergency surgery to open his black artery. He subsequently required 5 medications to sustain his heart. He now needs a defibrillator and is applying for long-term disability. I know it's unfortunate this happened to this young family, but imagine the societal effect. Imagine all those families, all of our neighbors, all of our friends who are suffering in silence. How could we have done better for John? Our model will empower and engage Black men. It will integrate existing community infrastructures to push screening and be able to deliver care. But the care has got to be fully integrated. We have to be able to meet the patients where they are. The care has to be culturally competent. We have to be delivered by the people, for the people. Care navigator is important. We need to meet the patients where they are and be able to provide them with the support that they need to be able to navigate and be able to go from screening to care. Relationships is important. I have developed relationships in the community, and I'm looking to leverage those relationships to be able to push health fair and screening, starting with churches. Teaming up is important. We'll team up, and I'm looking forward to be able to participate in health fairs in the Juneteenth festival that's coming up in this June, partnering with local churches. Remember John? Imagine if he had access to his screening and fair at his church. He would be in a better health. He'll be enjoying his life. He'll be able to enjoy the life with his family. He'll be able to deliver care and be able to really be in control of his life more than he has been able to do. What will we do with the money? We will be able to spend it in developing a strong agenda for engaging and reaching out to those Black men who are at risk. We anticipate that we're going to plug in the current model into our existing practice. We anticipate there will be increased revenue, and that revenue will be used to leverage the community outreach. Finally, I want to end with my experience with my dad dying with heart disease when he was 62. My mom lived when she was 94. Heart disease is a real killer. It strikes at any time, and a lot of times it's void. Our model is rooted in the heart of the community. It can easily be replicated across the United States. Judges, please join me today with your forces to heal the heart of the community. I'm ready to serve. I want to say one thing. I had requested mic, but initially it looks like I had to reshuffle because I needed a tag on mic, which will have allowed me to be a little bit more fluid as I start. I apologize. Again, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. Are you targeting a specific age group? You use John as a profile. Is that the age?
The cardiovascular risk starts 40 and up. And it is more accelerated in the presence of family history of heart disease, where it could present itself at as age as low as in the late 20s. But generally, 40s and up is where the cardiovascular risk starts to rise.
Quick question about the churches. Have you already partnered with a few that you're already working with, or is that?
Yes. I'm sorry I had to rush through that my presentation, but certainly we do have 5 churches we're going to partner with. For the Juneteenth Festival, we're going to be offering health fair and screening in partnership with them at the Juneteenth Festival. In fact, you are all welcome to join us to really deliver on that day.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sanur. All right, guys, so before we get into the next category, while our judges are tallying their scores and their thoughts, their comments, and concerns, I want y'all to run to the bathroom, get some air, grab a drink, get something to eat. Originally, this break was supposed to be 5 minutes, but now it's 3.5. So do out to what you need to do and come right on back. If you are not here when your name is called, we are going to the next caller. Thank you.
Talk about it for 3 minutes.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the pitch competition. We are moving on to our second category, which is creating safe spaces. And first and foremost, I want to welcome our judges, Roz Pachardo, Tiffany Stannard, and Mike Cohen. Just want to remind judges, please feel free to pick up the microphones. Also, when you are pitching, please pick up the microphone so that we in the back can hear you completely. First, I want you to give it up for Anavi Strategies, led by Anjali Chinani and her team members, Andres, Stephanie, and Henry.
Good evening. It is striking that up to 85% of helping professionals are facing burnout, fatigue, and secondary trauma. And depending on the individual, this shows up as difficulty sleeping, anxiety, anger or irritability, or depression. And this has high costs for organizations, especially community organizations, trying to provide critical health and safety services in our communities. I have personal experience. I started my career as a social worker working at a women's shelter, which is located in the basement of this church. And we had significant resource constraints. So in addition to clients facing devastating circumstances, we were dealing with delays in supplies and donations and funding, and to face that level of uncertainty for a person in power created powerlessness. And that was true for all of us there, middle managers, supervisors, the executive director. We did not have the tools to manage and self-regulate what we were facing day after day after day. I have spent over 20 years in the public sector and have continued to see this pattern impact frontline workers again and again. It is what inspired me to leave government and start my own company. Anavi Strategies is a public impact consulting company working with nonprofit leaders and philanthropy on strategic planning, program design, and evaluation. I've been in business for 2 years and have retained local and national clients, and so I feel ready to take our impact to the next level with this solution. My team and I have spent the last year developing a trauma-informed business model with 5 principles and 10 practices that we are using right now to guide how we provide services, supervision, and self-care as an integrated model. With the 10K, we will be able to refine and validate this model with experts in the field so that we can expand our fee-for-service model. If we're able to provide this, this is how it would work. We will work with nonprofit organizations in zip codes with the poorest health outcomes, identify current state of services and how social workers are currently experiencing service delivery, supervision, and self-care, identify pain points, and in collaboration with them, develop customized tools and practices to support them so they can deliver the best care every single day. What this looks like in terms of tools is structures for supportive and caring supervision and brain breaks, self-care plans, being able to emotionally regulate with clients. Our tools are teachable, observable, and measurable, so we can see if there's an impact in improving mental health, burnout, and productivity. I have a highly qualified team that has experience in government, nonprofits, and in communities. So we are committed to applying a racial equity lens to every tool because there are unequal levels of support inside organizations. We will make sure that our tools are backed by the latest research on brain science and trauma, and that we are being culturally responsive. We will also partner with an advisory board of national experts to ensure that we can continue to validate our model and do what actually works. I've been in business for 2.5 years, and we are seeing the demand for these services. Organizations are asking for trauma-informed tools and practices. And look, the reality is that people helping other people are struggling with their own mental health in very serious ways. Independent self-care practices are productive. But if we can design a system with tools that enable people to take care of each other as they're trying to serve communities, that's transformational, and that's what we're after. Well, City Challenge investors, we are asking you to help us validate and refine our model. You will be investing in customized tools by trusted advisors for frontline workers that are helping improve safer communities. Thank you. My team is going to come up and help answer questions. Andres?
Awesome. Thank you so much for that presentation. With your experience working in government and seeing a lot of the different tools that are out there, in addition to your customized tools, are you thinking of maybe one or two kind of scalable tools that can be duplicated across different cities and different organizations as well?
That's a big question for me. I don't believe that it's one size fits all. I think the customization is what is making us unique in the market. So for me, it's important that we're able to identify what's actually going to work, because organizations are serving different clients. So for us, it's integrating what are the actual services that are being provided, and with that, what are the supervision structures that are needed, and then what are the self-care tools that are needed. My hope is that as we learn this, through the refinement, that we may be able to scale a baseline set of tools that we can then customize with organizations and working with them.
You said you've been around for 2.5 years, right?
As a company, yeah.
As a company. How many clients do you have?
I have currently 8 clients. Half of them are returning clients from my first year. I am currently turning down work because I cannot grow fast enough, but I want to make sure that before we offer this service, that it is trusted and that it works. And so, that comes first before we're taking on more clients.
And real quick, are you currently in hospitals, or are you working with police as well?
Not yet.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Angelique. Next, we have Counseling in Motion presented by David Barnes.
Thanks. How's everybody doing? Great. Good. I am super honored to be here. All these other presentations are so great so far. Hopefully, I don't disappoint you with mine. I'm David Barnes, and I'm here to talk about Counseling in Motion, and we're presenting Box It Out. So, violence, the language of the unheard, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Now, when he said this, he was talking about riots specifically, but I believe this applies to all violence. Our young men are turning to violence more and more. And when people don't have the language to express themselves, oftentimes they turn to violence. CDC reports that homicide is the third leading cause of death for young people aged 10 to 25, and the leading cause of death for young African Americans. Bottom line is our kids are getting worse. They have a lack of discipline, lack of respect. Sometimes they're so angry at the world that, talking alone won't help them either. Sometimes they're afraid to talk. As a school counselor for the past several years and a part-time therapist, I can tell you that many of these kids, the ones that you might call quote-unquote bad kids, are dealing with some of the most horrific things you can imagine. From neglect to violence to abuse to generational trauma. They're dealing with things that they shouldn't have to deal with, and then also have to worry about school and other things like that. I see these issues every day, and I can tell you a lot of times, staff are some of the only safe adults they have to turn to. I want to tell you a story about a young man that I knew. It kind of gets into the idea of men don't open up as much as women, kind of similar to what our doctor was talking about with not going to the hospital. Our young men don't open up as much. I had a young man who was a great student, had a lot of things going for him. He was part of our early college program, and he went off to college, but silently he was dealing with mental health issues and a bunch of family things. And unfortunately, he did not even make it through his first year of college. He took his own life, and it was, the people who knew him all thought he was a positive, wonderful person, and we're all still affected by it now. And it's just, who knows what would have happened had he reached out to more people and, had a connection of people to help him out. So, at our school, we try to connect students with mental health resources all the time, but for one reason or another, it doesn't happen. Even when they really want to get connected, a lot of times there's barriers like money, of course, but then insurance, how far away the practice is. Most practices right now are really have a long wait list, and it's really hard to get our kids connected to stuff. So, but one of the biggest issues they have, one of the biggest barriers they have is that they don't want to open up. Like I said before, they don't want to open up. They just want to, pretend like everything's okay. I know people who have talked to young men before, and they usually give you answers like everything's fine, good, I'm chilling, little stuff like that. So, what do they like? They don't like talking. Fighting. And they're all really bad at it. So, one of my big ideas is to teach these guys how to box. Boxing teaches you self-defense, self-confidence, discipline, and respect for yourself and others. It's something that, is very useful for our young men. And you see the picture there, Mike Tyson, angry guy. Look at how happy he is, And have you ever seen any two guys nicer than after a boxing match? They say the nicest thing, oh, you're the best guy ever. You were just trying to take his head off a minute ago. I tell you, I used to box with people, and this amazing thing happens at the end of our sessions. We'd all sit around, and people start opening up. And it's like, as if we were in a counseling session, just talking to each other about what was happening in their lives and stuff. It's amazing. So, my program puts one boxing coach mixed with one or more school staff to teach boxing lessons to kids along with social emotional development. I think it's really important to mix school staff that the kids already have a connection with. Another point in the book, My Grandmother's Hands, and another book, The Body Keeps Score, they talk about how trauma lives not only in the mind, but also in the body. And one of the best exercises for getting some of that trauma out is intense physical exercise. Boxing I found to be very beneficial for a lot of young men that way. So, it benefits kids and everybody they're involved with. The funding we want to request is so that we can pay staff, write or purchase a curriculum for SEL, as well as get equipment and get into schools and start this program off. This program is really in its real infancy, but I am hoping that funding will help this get further along. There are other programs. All right. Kids can succeed.
Great presentation. I love boxing. I definitely get it in when I'm angry throughout the week. And I don't see enough boxing kind of, things throughout the city as much as I used to. So as you're thinking of scaling as like one, who pays for it? Obviously it would be, not the students. So who would pay for it, and how would you do the recruitment for it as well?
So long-term schools, I believe, will pay for it. I work at a school right now, and I know we have different programs that we do employ, but I think starting out, it would be beneficial if it was paid for, not by the school, so that, it's a better selling point for them. Mm-hmm. I'll just say Malik Jackson does something similar out of his gym, and I'm hoping to partner with him. I'm talking to a company just in California that's called Feet First, who do a similar thing. And so I do want to collaborate with other institutions so that we can bring this to as many people as possible.
So has schools already approved this in the school system? Because normally...
Not yet.
Not yet. Another plug you might want to check out is Rock Ministry. They also have a boxing gym as well.
Okay. Sorry, schools have not. I do personally do a boxing thing with a middle school that it's in my school district. It's not this. It's just kind of unofficial. I'm teaching boxing through the 21st Century program. But, yeah.
And would you have other people who are trauma-informed and know?
Yes, that's what I'm hoping to do. I'm hoping to partner with people in the school who already have good connections with them and are trauma-informed and and then the boxers will teach the boxing part, and the people in school can build on the other stuff. And it also gives them, a chance to connect with adults that they may not normally get a chance to connect with.
Real quick, as you grow, are you going to expand by the number of grades, the number of schools? What's your priority?
By the number of schools that are interested, I would say. I do want to focus on the young men who are struggling. I think that'll be easy to sell for teachers and stuff too, because as a school counselor, when I try to pull them out of class, they don't want to give me the good kids. They want to give me the ones who are skipping class anyway. But I want to work with a bunch of schools.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, David. Keep those hands clapping for our next presenter of TCBME, Derek Tarver.
Good evening. My name is Derek Tarver, and I'm the founder of That Could Be Me. Oh, sorry. Thank you. Good evening. My name is Derek Tarver, and I'm the founder of That Could Be Me. Over the past year, I've talked to lots of black and brown kids in the city of Philadelphia, and this is how they describe their lived experience. My moment of vulnerability came with George Floyd, when the words "that could be me" echoed in my head so loudly that I said to myself, I should trademark that phrase. So I did. 5 registered trademarks later, I'm on a mission to engage and empower black and brown youth and the communities we live in. Why? Because if a kid needs behavioral health support, look at the odds, 1,000 to 1, a 6-month wait list. It's unacceptable. These kids need a depth of connection that they're not getting, and they need continuity that they're not getting. And honestly, on the other side, therapists are burned out. Now, telehealth has been a great solution for many folks, but for black and brown youth, in some cases, Talkspace may not exactly be a safe space for them, particularly when their parents need to get involved for insurance and parental consent. Now, this statistic is a little bit startling, but I always think of what my grandmother said. Let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater. There are some good things here. Kids need community and they need validation. But what they don't need is a social media influencer that's paid to convince them that there's something wrong with them. So where do we play? Well, if we take what's good about social media and we combine that with the example of Nike Run Club, which uses technology to connect runners around achieving their wellness goals together, we find a cool place to play in social self-care. But on the other side, we have to make sure that we meet our kids' needs. And those needs involve curating connections to clinical care when in fact those needs are present themselves, because kids aren't going to ask for that help. So how do we win? Well, our youth affirmation was actually created using these 4 principles. So first, we listened to their vulnerabilities. We co-created the affirmation with them. And we used collaboration technology to let them tell their stories of what empowerment means to them. So let's flip that ratio. Let's disrupt the status quo. Our solution uses technology to empower and connect. So the first part of our solution is a social self-care portal. And it's like Nike Run Club, but instead of using running, we use evidence-based digital creative arts therapy to allow kids to conquer their vulnerabilities, to unleash their authenticity, and thrive. The second part of our solution is really for all of you, our community advocates. So just think about if you were looking for community resources to help a kid in need, if it was as easy as it would be to order a pizza. Well, it's possible. So let's talk about the social self-care portal first. 3 elements to the consumer experience. The first happens offline. So kids start with a kickoff at a partner community organization where they buddy up in teams. Those teams then get access to these applications and they get to work creating. They pick a platform and they pick a theme to create in. And then when it's time to showcase their work, we give them opportunities not just in galleries within the portal, but also on our merchandise. So what better way to show them a sense of pride and ownership? Create something and you're a part of the business that we're building. The second part is the app. Again, it's a community advocacy app for all of you. Again, 3 parts of the consumer experience. The first is you get a nudge 4 times a year to check out some content, look at some training, but also connect with 3 kids or more if you choose to. Second, you can search at any time from our culturally competent database, but if there's an incident, you get an incident alert, and you'll be alerted to resources that are in a 1-mile radius of your location. And those resources can also jump into action. So Ebenezer Church can say, hey, here's the meeting point. Dr. Quinta Brunson can send her staff over. This is community-based technology response in action. So our team, very, very proud of our team. Got 30 seconds left, gonna keep going. How are we going to market? 2 entities, nonprofit 501c and an LLC. Why? 2 sources of revenue to achieve our mission. Our products are largely digital, so our outcomes are clear and automatically measured. We've got 2 sources of revenue, a business market and a consumer market with high margins and quick break-evens. And as far as how we fund ourselves, we've developed a self-funding flywheel to supplement the $10,000 that we hope to win today. Thank you.
What's the status of the app today? Is there been design? Where are you right now?
The app is pre-development. The social self-care portal, all of the e-commerce elements are fully operational. So we've got a live MVP.
With the live MVP, do you have any users now, or kind of where are you?
We have beta testers. We have 5 beta testers, 5 full-time beta testers, additional that come and go. But we have 5 full-time beta testers. So far, the user experience has gotten very, very high ratings.
Okay, awesome. And I saw on the previous slide that you have like a sponsorship side. So as you're thinking of corporate sponsors, what type of partners are you thinking of for that advertisement side of your business?
I'm sorry, the question is what
Like
types
this,
of sponsors?
yeah, sponsorships. Like I saw that you had
absolutely.
the sponsor on the app side.
Absolutely. The healthcare community. Folks like IBX, doctors, practitioners in the mental health field, school districts.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Derek. And keep clapping those hands for the Hermitage Philadelphia, presented by Elizabeth Seeley and Lois Volta.
Thank you all for being here tonight. I'm Elizabeth Seeley, co-founder of the Hermitage Philadelphia. I'm also Chief Clinical Officer and a certified trauma therapist at a community mental health clinic in North Philadelphia, where I've worked since 2005. With me tonight is my co-founder, Lois Volta. Lois is a domestic educator, author, business owner, and so much more. Our goal is to establish a retreat center for community mental health professionals at the historic Hermitage Mansion in Fairmount Park, Philadelphia. Along with the Fairmount Park Conservancy, the Philadelphia Department of Recreation has designated the historic site to us over the next couple of years to build the center. Through the Well City Challenge, we will run the Hermitage at Home project to develop programming, collect data, and raise the funds to realize our vision. So why are we doing this? We are in the middle of a mental health crisis. Every day, we hear about the trauma of gun violence, hate crimes, systemic marginalization, domestic and sexual abuse and assault that is rampant in Philadelphia and across our nation. Just yesterday, a colleague shared with me that her son was murdered steps away from the office we work in North Philadelphia. What we don't often hear about is how this crisis is impacting mental health professionals, in particular, community mental health professionals that work in vulnerable, under-resourced, Black, Brown, Asian, Latinx, and queer communities that are often most impacted by these traumas. As a result, community mental health professionals are experiencing more burnout than ever and are leaving the field to manage their own depression, anxiety, and symptoms of PTSD. take, for instance, my friend and colleague Jeff, who lives and works in North Philadelphia. Not only does he work with people every day recovering from serious traumatic events, he's experienced multiple episodes of gun violence, steps away from work and his own home. On top of this, Jeff faces the home, life, and family responsibilities that leave him little time and energy to devote to his own self-care. At the community mental health clinic where Jeff works, thousands of people are diagnosed with PTSD every year and are waiting nearly 6 to 12 months for treatment. So when someone like Jeff leaves the field due to burnout, there's more people without the care they desperately need. This cannot continue. Not only do we need to keep the Jeffs we have in the field, we need to give the Jeffs we have the support they need to do their jobs. The Hermitage will be a place for mental health professionals to rest and restore in a serene, warm, home-like environment. Retreats will be tailored to meet the needs of individuals. People will receive massage and body work, nature walks, mindfulness experiences, individual therapy, learning opportunities, and time to just rest. But before we open the Hermitage, we will use the funding from the Well City Challenge to run the Hermitage at Home pilot, which will provide support and strategies to people in their homes and transform them into restorative, healing, and sacred spaces. Lois and I have already done much to secure the support for our project. We have the support of City Councilman Curtis Jones. FNC is helping us run the admin side of our business. West Health System is providing us with grant writing and business development. The global law firm of DLA Piper is providing us with pro bono legal support. And most important of all, we have the overwhelming support of mental health professionals around the city excited for our project. As one therapist told me recently, if you build it, we will come. Please join us in helping us build this community of care for helpers so we can together be a well city. Thank you.
How do you staff this, because there's a lot of great services you want to provide. Where do you get the staff from?
So in addition to Lois and myself, we will have massage therapist, nutritionist,
ecotherapist, garden experts, and people will be looking at what the community needs, and we'll be finding the people to come and help support the community.
And part of the pilot, through the pilot, we're going to be gathering data about what do people really need, and what people are looking for as a restorative healing experience. And we're connected with a network of different helpers that we will pull in based on what people's needs are for each retreat.
So the program is built for first responders or just for everyone?
For therapists, case managers, admin staff, receptionists, people that are working in community mental health centers across Philadelphia.
Thank you.
In addition to the 10K, do you have kind of the budget in addition to his question? Like, what do you need to, be up and running in the next year?
That is an amazing question. After the pilot, once we have the pilot, we do need to raise about $1.5 million to restore. You saw the picture of the Hermitage up there, to restore the site. Okay. It's a very special place. There are many places like this around the city and other cities that are vacant and not being used. So once we, establish our flagship, we are hoping we can do this.
And real quick, is this including harm reductionists and people who work on the street doing outreach?
Say
Would
that, can you
would your
repeat that?
services be good for harm reductionists and people who are doing outreach, like in Downaway, like in Kensington?
Yep, absolutely. We're hoping to partner with social service agencies, in particular community mental health care providers, but whoever wants, we're open to partnerships with other places like that for social service
Thank you.
professionals. Yep.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And keep those hands clapping. Last but not least, we have Hoops for Heart, presented by Vance Cooper and Kendreas Adams Johnson.
Welcome, everybody. I want to first thank God for letting us be here. Judges, I want to thank you for your time. My name is Kendreas Adams Johnson, but my friends call me K.
And I'm Dr. Vance Cooper.
And we're here today to present Hoops for Heart. Hoops for Heart is a basketball initiative designed to bring awareness to heart disparities in inner city youth through the game of basketball. As a current basketball coach and a former basketball player, I was recently diagnosed with a heart disparity that, because of early detection and preventative methods, I was able to catch before anything went fatal. But when I first heard this, I was a little strange. I was a little surprised, because my whole life I played sports and I was fine. I thought I was. But then I thought about some habits and some things that happened as I was growing up. My grandmother didn't have adequate health care or insurance to take us to the doctors frequently to get regular screenings and testing. And then I thought about professional football player DeMar Hamlin, who recently almost suffered a near-fatal heart fatality on live television. From that point on, my partner and I became passionate about bringing this cause to life.
So why Hoops for Hearts? Sudden cardiac arrest is something that really affects youth. It affects about 2,000 people that are 2,000 youth, according to the CDC. And so one of the things that we wanted to do is we wanted to raise awareness about conditions that can affect youth that often go undiagnosed. So when sudden cardiac arrest is not treated, within minutes, it can become fatal. And it's believed to be the leading cause of death in youth and adolescents, young athletes, excuse me. So some of the most common causes of sudden cardiac arrest in athletes is, one of the most common ones is hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, and then also coronary artery abnormalities. So if immediate CPR or an AED treatment is not administered within minutes, it increases your chances of death. So the ways to prevent sudden cardiac arrest is having an accurate knowledge of your family history, access to physical exams, community training for CPR, and then also AED devices being on site.
This basketball pilot will take place one Saturday out of the month for 3 months at the Athletic Recreational Center located in North Philadelphia for youth ages 13 to 20. This all-star style competition will be featuring a 3-point contest, a skills challenge, and an all-star game. We're going to also have medical vendors on site that's going to give parents and youth information about heart disparities in athletes. We're going to have free CPR training and demonstrations, and we'll have free AED training and demonstrations as well. We'll also have an opportunity for parents to sign their kids up for physical fitness scheduling, physical exam scheduling for a preventative method. The takeaways from this event: the youth will be able to come together in a safe space to learn about heart disparities, the game of basketball, They'll get cool swag bags from our partners, Mitchell and Ness. With our relationship with the Philadelphia 76ers, we're going to bring out a current or former player to talk to the students about what it takes to be an athlete. And we're going to do live Tai Chi demonstrations for health and mental wellness.
Sorry, our slides got cut short, I guess. But no, with our budget includes the cover of court costs. We'll be needing basketballs. We'll need cones, shooting racks, also jerseys, DJ, and then also we're going to have athletic trainings and staff on site.
So the way we're going to grow and market this event is through our partners. We're going to start this event at an athletic, a recreational level, and then we're going to grow to the Philadelphia School District. The first school that's already agreed to do the pilot is Southwark Middle School. Our partnership with Mitchell and Ness will allow us to provide cool sports apparel for the youth. Our partnership with the Philadelphia 76ers will allow us to bring out talent past and present to speak to the youth. You held up the sign before to stop. Okay. And last but not least, I have a personal and business relationship with NBA Hall of Famer and Philadelphia 76er legend, Allen Iverson. With this relationship and his lifetime deal with Reebok, Reebok will serve as the head sponsor for this event moving into the future. Thank you for your time. Now let's hoop for hearts.
So beyond this one event, do you have kind of plan to do like seasonal events that's focused on this education, partnerships with different sports teams? Like how often do you plan to get this information out there?
So we want to start it off by doing it, I guess, quarterly, so that way we can measure it. We wanted to do it once a quarter, take surveys, get feedback from parents and students to figure out what's working and what's not, and then we'll make adjustments and changes. But yes, we do plan on partnering with other sports organizations to make this happen.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. All right, so this is the break in the program, right? I want to make note that we have some WCC swag bags. If you go right outside this door to the right, you'll see a swag. Please grab them. We do not want to take them home. Also, there is a silent auction. This is not about money. This is about volunteering. This is about mentoring, and this is about advising. So please drop your business cards, drop your email addresses, drop your phone numbers, whatever you can do or you want to do to help support all of our individuals that are presenting today. And then that container is going to be given to them at the end of the night so they can take home and follow with you guys. They told me 5 minutes, but I'm giving you all 2.5, all right? Run to the bathroom, grab a swag bag, put your business card in the containers, and we'll be right back. Seconds. 30 seconds.
Okay. So
After all 5 teams present, you guys are going to, I'll show you into a room where you can deliberate and decide who you think should be top. You guys will be a little bit rushed when the other groups are because we're going to have to present the winners to you here.
So we're not writing on. Oh my goodness. You're not using these. You're just using these.
Just for reference.
So we're not. Yeah. That's
So it seemed, how were, was somebody just choosing a question, or were they like putting their heads together and going like?
They're just choosing, maybe they write down questions as they go along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's like if you have
come up
one.
with your own question because
Yeah.
of the way the timing.
Yeah, no, I just meant like it seemed like they finished and someone went right into a question. I was like, did you guys deliberate? How did you decide? Okay. Those people were confident.
Right.
No, we don't. We don't have time.
No, we don't. Yeah.
No, we don't.
We don't have time.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're getting ready to start our third sector. Please find your seat so we can begin.
Thank you, and I'll show you guys 2 minutes for questions. I'll forget the sound. We'll try to wrap it up at the end of 2 minutes for questions. We've been doing fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, do you have time to get water? No, do I have time to get water?
I'll get you some.
Thank you.
I usually formulate mine through the presentation.
Did you judge this before?
No, I've done a lot of judging. Yeah, so like you know, based on what you hear, you start to think of questions that you want to explore on, dig into. But this is usually like a helpful guide if you're checking this off as they go along, and there's some.
Hey, when you are. Oh wait, hold on.
I think we could actually write out.
So that's
not
my
use
question.
Them, but we're last, so I think we can just use it. There's enough.
See ya.
Look at that. Space bar.
No shade.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is our last and final category, and then we will figure out who is walking out of here with $10,000. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're ready for the third category, say, oh yeah. I'm not convinced. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're ready for the third category, say, oh yeah. Thank you. I just had to make sure y'all were still with us. First up, we have from BuildHCF. Give it up for Dr. Deanna Bond and Shakia Johnson.
Good evening, everyone. I am Dr. Deanna Bond, and I'm here with Shakia Johnson, and we are the co-founders of Building Healthy Communities Within Families. And we are here to shift mental health stigmas to advocate for mental wellness. Our mission is to advocate for youth and families. We try to empower our communities and assist them with access to educational systems, healthcare services, as well as mental wellness resources. Now, of course, many people here tonight have talked about the mental health crisis here in Philadelphia. We know this because Philadelphia is one of the most stressful cities in America. Mental health services often have a negative stigma in the BIPOC communities because there is a lack of trust in the services that can help address trauma, environmental stressors, behavioral and mental health needs, and education support services. We currently serve students that are 13 to 25 years old that reside in Southwest Philadelphia, and West Philadelphia, who often lack access to mental health awareness and support services. We know this as former guidance counselors, social workers, and educators, that high school students that suffer from depression are 2 times more likely to drop out than their peers. Working with our students, we've learned that limited resources on mental health, awareness, and wellness can affect how they see themselves, how they see others, how they build relationships, how they make informed life decisions, as well as how they regulate and express their emotions. So our solution is that we always try to promote self-advocacy and self-perseverance. Shifting the mindset of our youth, we've been able to use social-emotional learning, such as self-awareness, social awareness, emotion regulation, building healthy relationships, and making positive life decisions as they transition through multiple education phases, such as elementary to high school to college, and college and beyond. We want to make sure that we continue to connect our students with mental health professionals such as clinicians and mentors.
We are often asked the question, what motivates you to do the work that you do? And clearly we have to say it's our passion and our dedication to give back to the community that gave to us when we were younger. It's in our blood, it's in our family legacy, just due to the fact that Deanna and I come from families with strong ties in community service and community outreach. Due to that opened up the doors for us to do community engagement with other organizations and agencies in those target populations. That led to networking. Networking led to collaboration. If you look at this screen, we have listed several organizations and agencies that we do have collaboration partnerships with. And those agencies are actually based in Southwest Philadelphia, West, and South Philly. Now let's look at the milestones. From where we started to where we are now. 2009, we were strictly grassroots, pulling the lint out of our pockets, stretching ourselves thin financially. 2021, we gave us the opportunity to apply for the Target Community Grant from the City of Philadelphia. That actually started the funding for us. To where we are now, pitching for $10,000 to continue the work that we do. For future funding, we would love to connect with foundation grants, individual donations, fundraising, and private investors. Now, I want to give you guys a short, quick success story on the reason why our program is so vital in the communities that we just talked about. Recently, we had an 18-year-old male, rising senior. He lives in West Philadelphia, and he came to us with extreme social anxiety. Due to that, he felt as though that he was not ready socially or emotionally to attend higher education. But due to the resources and services that Deanna and I provided, not only to him but his family, because that's extremely important. We provided mental health wellness resources, social emotional learning interventions, and educational and traditional planning. To the fact that he was comfortable enough to apply to 6 colleges, received acceptance letters, and had 4 scholarships.
So help us win the Wells City 10K Challenge so we can continue to, obviously, we do monthly listening sessions with our communities because we want to be vested with them and get their input. Obviously, continue to provide educational counseling, use social emotional learning assessments, continue our project activities, and we want to use technology to continue to track our student progress, get survey outcomes, and receive participant feedback. Thank you for this opportunity, and we look forward to working and potentially partner with other people.
Thank you for your presentation. So you've been around since 2009. I'm curious if you could share more about some of the metrics that you're tracking.
So from 2009, we actually were guidance counselors in a high school, and so we worked with many students and their families. And so a lot of times we've used surveys as well as, again, student outcomes of getting accepted into colleges. But we want to make sure that we're using this money to then be able to move more sustainable and evidence-based trackers to be able to track our outcomes.
I just have a question as it relates to how your program's being administered now. So you had a lot of great partners out there. Are you guys doing all this in person? Is it a mix of virtual services?
So obviously, when COVID first happened, we did a lot of virtual listening sessions. Prior to COVID, we were always in person.
Mm-hmm.
We always go where the audience is. Oftentimes, it has either been in school environments. We've also gone to the Philadelphia Housing Authority, so we've done a lot of things with their council members. We've done rec centers, YMCAs, but primarily we've been going into the community in person. And so the goal would be for us to be able to use this money to continue to do outreach.
Great, thanks.
I'm just curious. I know you have a number of things that you've been doing over time. Have you thought about how you'll scale beyond the model that you currently have?
So of course we need to get staffing because it is only two of us, right? And so again, that's why we want to be able to partner with other mentor groups around the city, as well as connecting with the clinicians and mental health providers that we already have relationships with just in the field that we've been doing. We have well over 20 years of experience. So just working together with those partners that we already have relationships with.
And real quick, on a yearly basis, how many youth are you all serving?
So, like I said, back when we were guidance counselors, we were serving 75 to 100 students a year. But of course, once we became our own entity, we had to scale back because, again, there's only two of us. And so, through the grants that we've gotten, we usually have to do about 25 to 50 students for the cohorts, and that's usually quarterly that we work with students.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Deanna and Shakia. Keep those hands clapping for the West Philly G-Hood Network, presented by Eric Grimes. Y'all can clap it up, come on. There it is.
Greetings. I'd like you to turn to your neighbor and ask him or her this question. What happened to you? I saw the cringes on some of your faces. And I want you to think about how that feels to be greeted or engaged from a pain and problem as a pain or a problem to be fixed, as opposed to potential and possibilities to be fulfilled. Yet that question undergirds the way that therapy, counseling, and practice is done, particularly in black communities and particularly with black males. I had a chance to work with some young men, so I want y'all to repeat after me. They taught me this 15 years ago. They taught me that love is greater than ACEs. Can you repeat that, please? Love is greater than ACEs. Al Jarreau has a song, You Don't See Me. You don't see me when I'm trying to do right, so maybe you will see me now. And now is when vandalism, violence, other things that impact our community happens. We quest to be seen and significant in our village, and we react when we are unseen and deemed insignificant in our village. Surgeon General Murthy, just in a New York Times article this weekend, lamented the loneliness, the alienation, the social disconnection, the lack of community that is leading to deaths of despair and other forms right here in America. He talked about alienation and its impact and the return on investment for that. These articles and these statistics, though, leave out another ROI. That's racism, oppression, and inequity. The Surgeon General said, hey, I propose a national framework that will deal with loneliness in our community. Well, Surgeon General Murthy, thank you for your consideration, but I want you to know that there are already people, communities, highlighting the good things that happen in our communities, that mitigate alienation and bring about attachment, that mitigate bad behaviors and cultivate a sense of belonging, that mitigate against isolation and bring you the community. There is a proverb that says, it takes a village to raise a child. But there's also a proverb that says, if the child is not initiated into the village, he or she will burn it down to feel warmth. In many ways, Philadelphia is at that point. But there's a good network designed to bring health, to bring hope, and to bring healing in our community. It emerged in 2019, right before the COVID epidemic. And we were able to receive support from the Linfest Foundation because we wanted to address viruses, violence, and the voids that make our communities vulnerable. I had a chance 15 years ago, man, I'm getting old, to teach a group of young men. And the question that we researched over 2 summers back in 2007, 2008 is, what did they need from our community in order to make it into adulthood successfully? They didn't talk about jobs. They didn't talk about all the things we talk about. They didn't even talk about therapy. They said they needed love from the village. Love. A sense that they would be believed in and not given up on. Opportunities, vision, education, and resources. They already knew then what Surgeon General Murphy tells us now. The way to overcome ACEs is through love, to be seen, not neglected. Survival Lifeline Systems is an evolution of the Good Network to particularly address the needs through a social smartphones. Many of our brothers have smartphones, but they don't use them smartly. So we teach how to gain guidance through the phone, as well as through community guides who can teach them grounding, gifts, gains, their growth goals to achieve their greatness. Help us, support us to recruit and train our community guides, to develop and codify our curriculum, to train the people who will undergird our system, as well as be present with our young men, to help us develop the platform and to be present in our communities and our villages. Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. I'm curious about the how you plan to fund the model. So you talked a lot about the staffing needs that are required, and maybe you can share a little bit more about how you use the initial 10,000 and then where you'll get the additional funding beyond there.
So our platform, the Good Network, Village Information Power, exists. We do community classrooms, we call them shoelays, we galvanize information in the West and Southwest Philadelphia area, and then we disseminate it through that platform. You can go to VIPnetwork.com right now. This is operational. What we want to do is create the Survival System Lifeline as an outgrowth of this that targets specifically young black men between the ages of 16 and 30, such that they can, like Neo in the Matrix, be connected to a village and a Morpheus through the phone. You know, back, if you saw the movie, the telephone was the portal. We want to use smartphones as a portal to the village, so that's what we would use the money for, and primarily the app part is pretty easy. What we need are the real people like you all, the people who know that love is greater than ACEs, and our focus is on training you all in our guidance model to walk someone from their grounding, identify their gifts, experience gains, achieve growth goals, and experience and fulfill their greatness.
What user testing have you done on the platform, and what have you learned from that?
Our user testing has been a part of the different grants we've received. We got an Linfest Foundation grant. We got a grant through the Office of Violence Prevention. So we've gone out. We work with different programs throughout the city. We coordinate our programs. We work with IDAY. So we've interviewed and talked with hundreds of young black men specifically. That's what we do. We talk to them. We engage in participatory action research such that they're defining what we do. And the feedback has been phenomenal, but the key, what we learn is the technology by itself is not the key. It is that we have to have guides grounded in their giftedness that will make young men engage with them.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. While you're at it, keep those hands clapping for Nightlife to Whole Life, presented by Eric Jefferson with Julie Jefferson, Sine Pitts, and Ben Schnibel.
Check, check. Can everybody hear me in the back? All right. What's up, everybody? Hello, World City. My name is Ben Arsenal. I'm a DJ, producer, musician, and in the last decade, I've organized countless community events in the nightlife space for our city. Music is a universal language that transcends socioeconomic differences because it alleviates loneliness that we've all felt at one point or another. While bringing together diverse communities, I saw the need and opportunity to combat isolation and promote health and wellness during and in between the events. In fact, it's at these parties that you see up here that I met my colleagues here. Sinead, take it away.
The Surgeon General recently declared we are a lonely nation. 1 out of 2 adults are reporting loneliness, and it's more than just a bad feeling. It increases heart disease, stroke, diabetes, and dementia. Blacks and Hispanics are the loneliest demographic in the nation. These stats are overwhelming. Here we see Hispanic, Black, and lower income young adults are more likely to be lonely and suffer poor health. However, research shows that when meaningful in-person interactions happen, loneliness decreases, and that's the key to the solution. How we're addressing this problem is through music and nightlife, activities that already gather crowds and mend our social fabric. We are deepening connections and promoting wellness habits through our platform that empower event organizers like Ben to create healthy and connected communities, and it helps attendees to improve loneliness, mental, and heart health. Our solution is a wellness-focused community development app. We have live event information, health and wellness prompts, icebreakers, and scavenger hunts. It promotes participation and connection. It's scalable citywide for diverse groups, and it's as accessible as a smartphone. This pilot community of Departed employs 130 creatives that attract the Black and Brown community. Research shows that when you develop diverse communities, it promotes inclusivity and connection. Everyone feels welcomed at these events and within our app. In the app's wellness resource page, in the context of nightlife, we provide a library of mental and heart health tools to help people bring their best to events and to combat loneliness. In-app surveys and polls allows users to assess and us to track outcomes and impact. The community calendar provides diverse music and heart and wellness events from around the city. It allows us to collaborate with other groups, including our other Well City finalists, and provides a mutual marketing channel. We have a proven team. I have a PhD in neuroscience and have started a web development company in 2008. You've already met Ben, music producer and community organizer, and our unstoppable co-founders, Eric and Julie, software engineer and Nightlife security and management person, and and Julie's a wellness coach who founded a nonprofit that serves the Black and Brown community. We've achieved so much in 2 months alone. We've already been piloting with the Departed community, which has almost 9,000 followers and sells 800 tickets per event. We've launched the MVP Departed community app that these screenshots are from, with over 200 users, and hosted a wellness booth and hydration station at the events. People felt so cared for and grateful. With the $10,000 Well City budget, we'll be doing additional tech and health content development, have wellness booths and marketing at more events to show people in person in May and June, and the impact of that budget will be growing our online and event audience and seeing them interact with the wellness resources in the app and at the wellness booth, and they'll be able to answer loneliness scales, and we want to see decreases in loneliness and increases in heart health. We already have plans to onboard our second community, the West Philly House of Emoja, West Philly Black Arts, with more partners and sponsors. We ask for you to vote for us and be part of the change to help Philadelphia to be less lonely and more healthy. Vote for us, visit our web app and log in, get connected to our events. Come to our next event this Saturday, which is a cleanup at Graffiti Pier and a DJ concert, and listen to the sound healing track and spread good vibes.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. So my question actually just popped up in my mind when you invited us to the last event. So our all these events at night? Are they at different times of the day? Just curious.
Yeah,
there.
that's a good question. Even though our initial name is Nightlife to Whole Life, we are starting to sponsor and create daytime events. So this cleanup of Graffiti Pier is going to be during the day. We're going to have a cleanup and do a wellness session that Julie's going to lead, and we're going to have a DJ concert. We have how many different DJs on board? We have 9 DJs from all different other communities who are going to be playing live and for free.
Can you tell us a little bit more about what makes your events uniquely wellness focused as opposed to just nightlife events?
Yeah, it's the culture that we're cultivating, that it's positive, it's inclusive. People call this group therapy. People say, I need this to heal. Like, we actually have messaging. We have people who say from the Black and brown community that finally this is a place I can be myself and be accepted and feel safe.
Yes.
Yeah, so one thing that we want to that we're bringing to the table is we're bringing like an event organizer toolbox as well, which includes like consent information, which is something that we take very seriously. It's a principle that I've picked up along the way over the years, where we welcome people in and say, hey, you're invited to participate, you're invited to meet people, but remember to ask permission to hug, ask permission to touch, that kind of thing. So we're actually providing a toolkit for communities to grow, thrive, and sustain.
And for your events, are there any age minimums?
For the day event coming up, there's no age minimum. For the nightlife events, it's typically 21 and up.
Gotcha.
Because of the venues and federal laws that are outside of our control, but it's something that we're obviously exploring. And this event Saturday, everybody's welcome. Graffiti Pier, East Cumberland and Delaware Ave, or Richmond Ave rather. It's a beautiful park that's a little run down. We just got endorsed by CLIP, the city cleanup initiative, with brooms and shovels, and we're encouraging people to bring their kids, their families, trying something new.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, and our video demo didn't play, but the app is live, and here's the URL, or you can scan our QR code or connect with us afterwards.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nightlife to Whole Life. Keep those hands clapping for the Wellness Co-op presented by Joy Bullard Moore.
Okay, to go ahead and get started. Yes, okay. All right, hi everybody. My name is Joy. I am a licensed professional counselor and also a board certified music therapist. And now, thanks to the Well City Challenge, I'm the founder of the Wellness Co-op, also known as Well Within Reach. There's a saying that when America catches a cold, Black people get pneumonia. Now, what you see right here to the left, that's actually a photo of my mom, and the little one that she's holding is me. Before I was born, she had worsening headaches each day until she was finally rushed to the emergency room and she had to have emergency brain surgery. They were able to save her life, but they were unable to save her sight. After living for 30 years totally sighted, she now is a totally blind woman in rural North Carolina. On the right, what you see is the two of us again, this time in 2019, and we are celebrating my mom's 70th birthday. But the thing is leading up to that photo, I had unknowingly developed a large blood clot in my left leg. It broke apart, traveled up to my lungs. I could barely breathe, but I made it to the hospital just in time. I'm grateful to be alive today, and really each day, but especially grateful to be standing here before you all now. That was all right before the COVID-19 pandemic. And one thing that we know became glaringly obvious from the COVID-19 pandemic were the glaring health disparities on the local, national, and global level. In Philadelphia, Black and brown people experienced higher rates of infection, hospitalization and deaths compared to white people. In times of crisis, of course, we have to react, but what if we shifted our focus toward being proactive in a collective manner, where we tap into already present community resources and supports to promote care and healing? Holistic health and wellness services should be easily accessible for everyone, not just those who can afford it, and not just during times of crisis. For this reason, we need to break down the barriers and create supportive communities that promote holistic wellness and also provide high-quality wellness services within public spaces where everyone, regardless of their background, can come together and prioritize their well-being. Our wellness co-op will be made up of socially conscious wellness businesses and residents. So starting with the businesses. Globally, as you see, the wellness industry has boomed, especially during the pandemic. And locally, there are many Philadelphia businesses who survived the pandemic, and they also balance that out with integrating social justice into their practice. You see it every day. This looks like community acupuncture, yoga teacher training scholarships that are being offered, low-cost and sliding scale massages, nutrition and cooking classes in the community, and that's just to name a few. With all of these efforts that are happening, just separately, imagine if we worked collectively in an integrated and coordinated manner. Also, when we look to the residents, most importantly, we would really focus in on resident input and have a targeted focus on Black and brown Philadelphians who have chronic health conditions, which oftentimes do come with comorbidities related to mental health, like anxiety and depression. These individuals are also more likely to report poor or fair health status, and we would track this metric and strive to make sure that our organized efforts would actually improve access to accessible wellness services. So what you see here is when you bring together the businesses and the residents, you have the wellness co-op. The residents are at the center of the process, and coordination between the co-op and socially conscious businesses will provide a supportive, self-sustaining, one-stop shop for wellness outreach, education, resources, mentorship, training pipelines, and free and low-cost wellness services, anchored within community spaces, such as libraries that are free and easily accessible. Ultimately, the co-op is going to amplify businesses that are already focused on holistic health. We're not going to duplicate efforts, but we're going to complement them and bring them together. Being that trusted one-stop shop, we'll use the $10,000 to be able to hire a community liaison. That person will support our efforts of outreach, which will be crucial at this beginning point. And then also, we'll need to purchase outreach and marketing materials. Thank you so much for hearing about the co-op, and remember, this is more than a business, but a community and a movement. Thank you.
Thank you. So as far as early leads, when it comes to like businesses or community organizations, just curious like who you've spoken with so far and if people are, just like who's been interested.
Sure. So as I was coming up with the idea, I did reach out to local business owners, particularly of yoga studios, to get their perspective, on how they would see themselves fitting within this model. So that's definitely one aspect of it. Also, I've made a contact at the Free Library of Philadelphia on their board to be able to discuss being able to use that public space in particular. Because that's really part of the scalability I'm seeing, is that there's libraries everywhere, and if we can kind of use that to anchor this in not only Philadelphia, but throughout the nation, then I'd really like to pursue that partnership.
Great, thanks.
You were talking about bringing on a community liaison for your outreach strategy. Can you talk a little bit about what you'd be looking for that person to be doing?
Sure. So for that person, so in my 9 to 5, I work at the Philadelphia Housing Authority as a director of place-based programs. So it's always residents first for me. So I'd like to see that person be an actual resident of that community first and foremost, because it needs to be someone who can be a credible messenger, because building trust is also going to be really important. Just trust that they'll be able to have a presence at different community events, block parties, health fairs, making those connections to residents, being that familiar face, And then as we start working with these businesses as well, there'll be that person to kind of liaise between what we're working on with the businesses and making sure that the community's voice is amplified in it.
I noticed on one of your slides you talked about your funding model coming from fundraising primarily. Have you considered sponsorships or having the businesses that are part of the co-op to pay a fee?
Sure. I'm glad you asked that, actually, because I am kind of playing around with this pledge level model. So this is kind of one option that businesses could opt into pledging. Say if they pledged $100 a month, that would be $1,200 a year. And I want to really get 50 businesses and be able to build up an annual revenue of $60,000.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joy. Last but not least, we have Every Heartbeat Counts, presented by Vera Poitier.
Good evening, judges. My name is Vera Poitier, and I am the founder of Every Heartbeat Counts. I am an entrepreneur who advocates for heart health, and my intention is to save many. Every Heartbeat Counts mission is to spread awareness about heart disease, promote a heart-healthy lifestyle, and advocacy. Now, my inspiration was my brother Rich. My brother Rich was diagnosed with a thoracic aortic aneurysm and a leaky heart valve in March of 2021. He was a 49-year-old, healthy, without any pre-existing conditions, and I was shocked. I was his power of attorney, and I advocated for him throughout his entire journey. That experience made me interested in heart health. So through my research, I found that the inequalities in underrepresented communities needed to be addressed immediately. And Every Heartbeat Counts is prepared to address the following problems: a lack of education, awareness, advocacy, and financial hardships. So Every Heartbeat Counts does not want to reinvent the wheel. We just want to add another spoke to make it more durable. So our unique value proposition will be to our grassroots approach, face-to-face, in community outreach in undesirable or overlooked Philadelphia communities. And our heart disease focus will be thoracic aortic aneurysms and aortic leaky heart valves. Our target audience resides in high-risk communities that lack the resources needed for to overcome health disparities. Thank you. And according to the Centers for Disease Control, African Americans have the highest rate of heart disease, and Hispanic Americans come in second. And also, every 34 seconds, someone dies of cardiovascular disease in the United States. But there is hope. According to the Centers for Disease Control, 80% of heart disease is preventable. So the $10,000 funding will be used for our pilot phase of prevention methods to our communities. Our community outreach will include information setup tables. We will offer CPR and AED classes, and we will invite youth to come, youth coaches to come. We have made traction since its 3-month conception of our business, and with 100 black men, and they will sponsor movement and nutrition classes twice a month between September and May. Listen, we will scale our business through donations, fundraisers, sponsorships, and grants. Our next steps will also be to offer every heartbeat count. Oh, and we will leverage partnerships with giants like these businesses to help us grow our business. Now, I watched my brother go from trauma to triumph. I'm a heart health advocate for life. I'm asking you judges to please help me fund Every Heartbeat Counts so that we can save lives one heartbeat at a time. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Oh, Lord. You're welcome.
So if you could just talk a bit more about just like the program model. So you said in the beginning it would be like a face-to-face delivery. Yeah, if you could just expand a bit more upon that.
So our pilot phase is all about prevention. So face-to-face community outreach in undesirable or communities that are overlooked, we will set up tables at supermarkets, health fairs, local events. We will work with our local politicians and our faith-based leaders to get this heart disease information out and hopefully encourage them to want to take the nutrition classes, the CPR and AED classes, and the movement classes. Because because heart disease is preventable, if people just work out and make better food choices, we can make strides.
So I know the program is seems like it's focused on the staffing components, whether it's CPR trainers, therapists, what have you. Have you started to garner a list of those individuals at this point? Who are some of the partners that you have to help you on the actual operation side?
So I've already partnered with a yoga instructor and a Zumba and hip hop instructor and she's also a nutritionist. Her and her husband are nutritionist certified. Also, if I can go further, we would like to offer an Every Heartbeat Counts gift for patients. This is our next steps who do not have family. We would like to also pay for dental clearances because you have to have a dental clearance for heart surgery and echocardiograms, which is a ultrasound of the heart to our underinsured and uninsured target audience. Thank you so much for your time, judges.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, clap it up for everyone that presented today. Come on. It is very difficult to get up here and try to convince people who don't know you about the work that you do and that you're so passionate about. While I give my judges a minute and a half to deliberate, we actually have a surprise for everyone here. We have a kickoff Mentimeter Showstopper Award. So this award is going to be given to not the best idea, but the best performance. And that is going to be in the amount of, actually, I'm going to wait for that. So what we're going to do is, okay, Just close your eyes real quick. There it is. Okay. So you guys are going to scan right here with your phone. Take your phones out, the ones I told you to put on silent earlier. Or you can go to menti.com. You can put in the code 84320547. Vote for your showstopper of the night for a grand prize of Clearly They Just Ruined It, $500. But the gag is you have 60 seconds. Go. Yeah. 55. Menti.com, menti.com. 8432. 045. I think it's 0457. This is how I pass school, y'all. Or just open up your camera app. Thirty seconds. Seventeen seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Are we done? If we was giving out money, y'all be late. So while we're at it, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, kudos to everyone that came up and presented. I'm clearly comfortable with a microphone, but it is not easy to come up here and convince people that your work is important. But we have a winner. Now this says only 27 people did this, but it's like 60 in here. Okay. Play with your $500 if you want.
26, how's it going down? Anybody still need time? I'm about to press enter. All right, note. Drum roll.
Drum roll, everyone. Nightlife to Whole Life wins. Congratulations, guys. It's unexpected. You're a showstopper. So I'm actually glad you guys won that because I do music and I immediately connected to what you guys did. Although I also do love Nightlife, I also am very passionate about the mix that you guys do. So although I can't come on May 6th, I would love to talk to you guys about how we could do something together. I think what you do is really unique. And right now we're waiting on what y'all really waiting on. No shade. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, clap your hands for Independence Blue Cross. Yeah.
Thanks, Julian. Good evening, everyone. I just want to, I know we're running late on time, but I think we just need to give a really big round of applause to the team of the Economy League. They have done such a great job. And I don't think anybody else is going to give them a shout out, so I will. And also, you know, a thank you to all of you for staying here so long today, but this is going to be really exciting. As we know, community challenges really need community-based solutions, and each of you here tonight have embodied that and share an inspiring commitment to improving the health and well-being of people who live, work, and play in the communities around us. As Philadelphia's hometown health insurer for 85 years, Independence Blue Cross has been dedicated and continues to be to the health and wellness of those in the communities that we serve. That is why we've been incredibly honored to partner with the Economy League of Greater Philadelphia for the second time in a row and Accelerate Health Equity to sponsor the Well City Challenge. Now, without further ado, it's my honor on behalf of Independence Blue Cross to announce our Judges' Choice winners in the 3 categories for tonight. As I call the winning team, please make your way to the front for a quick photo, and if the mentor for that team is in the audience, please join them up here as well. We'll do that right there. So, the Judges' winner for Breaking Barriers, Equitable Access to Nutrition and Care.
Drum roll.
Ready? PEDS 360.
Yay! Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for PEDS 360!
Congratulations.
And you get $10,000.
Your mentor here? No? All right. We'll take a
This is our first winner of the evening for equitable access to nutrition and care.
All right. You can stay standing up there. We'll take a photo at the end of everybody. Okay. All right. The second category, so the judges winner for creating safe spaces, safety in our streets, homes, and communities is...
Drum roll. Come on, be dramatic with me.
TCBME.
Hey!
Congratulations.
That could be me.
All right, so we can do a quick photo? Get that photo, it's better.
That could be me one day.
Me too. Okay, and the last, but not least, I know. Judges winner for creating community and social connections is...
Drum roll.
The Wellness Co-op.
Wellness Co-op!
Congratulations! Of course. All right, let's get a photo of our 3 lovely winners, and then we're gonna toss it back to somebody else.
'Cause it's not over. It's not over.
And I need Erica up here, Dixon. We're gonna take a quick photo from Accelerate Health Equity. Please join us. Maritza and myself.
But it's not over. We got more money. All right, so without further, well, first of all, I want you to give it up for one of our biggest sponsors this year, Giant. Go ahead and clap those hands. Just reminded me, I do need to go grocery shopping, but in the meantime, we have one of the Giant representatives here. Give it up for Ashley.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ashley Mahaffey. I am the Community Impact Specialist for the Giant Company. Giant is a purpose-led team committed to connecting families for a better future. We do that by bringing families around the table and making a difference in our communities. So we are grateful to be a sponsor today of the Well City Challenge. And without further ado, you can now cast your vote for the Giant People's Choice Award. So scan the QR code, go to the link, and vote for your favorite pitch.
Hold on, y'all. We about to get it for y'all. Hold on.
Next.
Bam.
Get those phones out and vote. Polls are now open until Sunday, May 7th at midnight, and winners will be announced on Monday.
How many winners are there? It's not. All right. All right, try texting WCC to 205-778-1393. Come on, y'all. Text woulda, coulda, shoulda. WC. Oh.
But it's open till midnight, so you have time. Till May 7th.
So let me just clarify for you, just in case there's any confusion. So what y'all are about to do is cast your vote for the Giants People Choice Awards when the scan code comes up or the text message is sent. Now this poll, I know, give me a second. Give me a second. This poll is going to be open until midnight, Sunday, May 7th, right? At that point, the winners are going to be announced on Monday. There's going to be 3 of them. And with these prizes, I believe the amount was, drum roll please, $7,500. Okay, y'all don't sound excited. So once you cast your votes, we're gonna have 3 winners who are gonna receive $7,500 towards their idea, their pitch, their plan. $7,500. So $7,500 is gonna be awarded to not 1, not 2. There we go.
They say if you refresh your page, it now works. So cast your votes.
That's what I said. It's not over. And like I said, this poll is open until midnight, Sunday, May 7th. So get that link. Send it to your family chat. And I'm going to pass the mic off to Maritza for our last remarks.
All right, thank you everybody for such an awesome evening. Wonderful pitches. Honestly, the cohort outdid themselves and you all outdid yourselves, this audience. So as you heard during that slight intermission, People's Choice Award is open until Sunday at midnight. So be sure to share the link, but also share the live stream link. So we don't want people just voting without seeing the pitches. So if they haven't been to the event yet, you can share the live stream on the Economy League YouTube page, and the live stream will still be there for them to view this entire event. Next steps in the process. So the people who've won the Judge's Choice Award, congratulations to you. You are automatically moving forward into the accelerator phase of this program. You will now have a chance to compete for the $50,000 Grand Prize Award, which will be awarded in September at the end of a 12-week accelerator program. So the people who will win and be announced on Monday for People's Choice will also be entered into that program as well and have a chance to win $50,000. So please, please, please vote, share, and get the word out because this is an amazing opportunity. And once we choose our $50,000 grand prize winner, they will have a chance to work with one of our implementation partners within our network and pilot their idea in Philadelphia in real time. So this isn't just an idea that you saw. This is gonna be real life. So we're excited for that opportunity, and we're so excited that you were here and supported every venture that you saw today. Now, the investment doesn't end just with this competition. You have a chance to still contribute and volunteer time with organizations you connected with today. So the fish bowls that you see outside, please place your business card with a venture that you would like to help, mentor, advise, and assist in any way. So it's a quick ask, write your phone number, your name, email, throw it in the pot for them, and they will all take that home tonight so they can continue doing this great work. So that really concludes everything for tonight and all the prizes that we'll have. Once again, this is over $100,000 in prizes that we're giving out at the Well City Challenge. So this is the first part. Continue to engage with us. Text that number and see where things end up in September. Thank you.
Don't forget to grab a swag bag on your way out and also another cocktail before I take it all home. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming to the pitch competition today. Have a great night.